Hello everyone. Today I am recording something very strange. Sort of a rambling post. I'm not sure how I'm gonna edit this into any kind of a video. I'll probably end up putting in some stock video game footage in the background just to make sure that everyone doesn't go completely nuts and lose their shit as they stare at a blank screen. I am currently a year older because of today. I had a birthday today. Kind of cool being a little bit older. I know that sounds weird, but it is. It's kind of cool being a little older. It's not cool being as old as I am sometimes. You get aches and pains now. It kind of sucks. I actually do have some aches and pains that I am not too happy with. But I gotta say, it's nice being older because I am not dead. A lot of people don't have the chance to be as old as I am. I have lost a few friends, a lot of family members over the years. Grandparents are gone. A bunch of my uncles are gone. A bunch of my uncles and aunts. I only had a few uncles leave. Only have one left, I think. Well, two, really. One that I care about. The other one, kind of a jerk. So, you know. And that is the sound of larceny. Bourbon. And my friends went ahead and bought that for me for my birthday. And I'm making this weird little recording and putting it to a video because it hit me that something my friend once said, something a friend of mine who is no longer a friend but who I was friends with once, said a lot. And he seemed to like saying it because it's true, I think, and also because it sounds good. And that is, context is everything. So let me tell you about my day. I worked today. I worked very early in the morning for most people, which is just, 6 a.m. It's not terrible, but it's still pretty early. 6, and then I worked a full day. And in the middle of that day, on my birthday, working, I noticed that our store where I work had a meeting, but I didn't have to attend that meeting. I actually had to keep working. Now, for some people, they're going to look at that and go, well, you have to keep working. That sucks. No. There's one thing that I hate more than bitch work. It is meetings. Meetings are a huge waste of time. So I'm smiling to myself the whole time because I'm working and all these people are sitting there eating their free food, and which, I got some free food, so it's not a big deal. I mean, these people treat us pretty well when they're giving us meetings. But I didn't have to sit there and sing Kumbaya to the corporate bullshit. I didn't have to sit there and do any kind of word games to build morale and build camaraderie. I just did my work. I still know these people. I still work with them. We work for the same company, but I get to avoid that, And I get to smile about it because I knew the entire time things were going my way, even though it looks like I'm kind of like an outlier or somebody who's not really part of the whole group. It kind of felt weird to be the only person other than one other person in the whole store working. But I was working, and I felt good about it. So then I came home, and after a pretty decent day at work where I was working my butt off, we had a whole bunch of stuff to ship, a whole bunch of inventory to pick, and a whole bunch of boxes and packages and all sorts of other stuff to move. And being told by my manager, hey, no, I wasn't going to schedule any of you guys for the store meeting. Hell no. None of my guys are going to be wasting time doing that. I wanted to high five the guy, but I just said thank you. Finding out that we did a really good job in the back. We don't really get measured on stuff, which is nice. But one of the things we do get measured on is getting stuff done as far as shipping goes, as far as getting product for people goes. We do actually work pretty hard at it. It's not terribly physically demanding, but it is physically demanding at times, and I was happy, I was proud about that. I mean, it's not a glamorous job. It's retail. Despite the fact that I don't deal with customers anymore, it's still retail. But I did feel pretty good about that. And then I came home, like I said, and I opened a bottle of mead that a friend had made for me maybe 6 months ago. Bottled up, and it was ready to be drunk. So I opened it up after screwing up the cork because it was a cheap cork. So I basically had to dig that shit out. It finally poured it. It tasted all right. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. So I got about half of a glass done, and then I realized I couldn't drink anymore. It was either drunk or something, but my stomach started to go nope. So, I went and took care of that. I didn't puke or anything. I just went and kind of like took a bit of a walk and got up and drank something with carbonation in it. It felt better after 10 minutes. So, ups and downs already. Meeting in the morning, have to work on my birthday, and yet things are good because I'm thinking about them well. And then when I drank that stuff, I didn't feel that great. It still felt cool because somebody had made that mead for me. It tasted all right. And the bottle was done. I was no longer having it sit on my shelf, waiting to be drank or drunk or whatever, waiting to be imbibed. It was no longer a question I had to answer. It was now an answer. It was in the past, it didn't really bother me anymore. And I'll get some more from him later on. Maybe something that doesn't taste so sweet, perhaps. I mean, mead's pretty sweet, but at least I can deal with it now. And then after that, I went through and tried to fix some of my videos because some of them were kind of a little messed up. I found out that my internet just was not having me uploading anything at the time, so I just didn't upload it. Instead, I just did some other stuff, made a new video that I haven't uploaded yet. It'll be a bit until I do. Did some more stuff. Another thing that could have been like a real downer because it's raining and the internet kind of sucks when you're on DSL. And it didn't actually bother me. And then we went to dinner, me and the family. Parents drove me, thankfully, because they knew I had mead, so they're very cool people. They knew I was probably going to drink at the place we were going to, too, so it's very cool of them to do that on my birthday. It's not something I would have expected, so very awesome. And they were being very nice to each other in the car. They've been married for a long time. They're kind of prone to bickering because that's what people who are with each other for a long time, I think, do. Not always, but yeah. So, it got to the place we were going to eat at, and they had like an hour and a half long wait when we got there. No reservations at this place either. It's a bar. It's a really nice bar. They do amazing food. But there was a game on, and so the place was packed, and so we had to wait an hour and a half. And again, this is one of those times when I could have looked at it and go, God, this sucks, life's awful. But you know what? We sat down outside of the place, and there was like a little courtyard and some chairs and some lawn chairs. I mean, it had been raining, but it wasn't raining then. I just sat down, smiled, started laughing with my friends and family who showed up, because I had some friends show up with their kids, and I had some other families show up with their kids and stuff. So everybody's just running around. We're just making sure they don't get snatched because it's a big courtyard, But I mean, there's plenty of adults. It's just, we're just trying to keep the eyes on the kids. We're trying to joke with each other. Nobody's really trying hard or anything. We're just being natural and laughing a lot, joking a lot. And the wait didn't end up being much of a wait, I mean, we waited an hour and a half, and geez, that sounds awful, doesn't it? But it wasn't awful. I mean, we were all a little hungry, but we could have got really angry and let it slip away from us and get pissed and just but nobody did that. We all waited patiently. We didn't complain about it. We were all in a good mood. Finally got into the place after, running around, checking out a couple shops outside, around the place, Well, because they had my sister actually had a text message from the restaurant, so she didn't have to sit next to the door or anything. We didn't have to wait in line. We could just wander around until they were ready. We went, shopped around and stuff, got candy for the kids, just normal kind of fun little, we had to deal with stuff, we had to wait for getting into the restaurant, but we didn't let it get to us. We got into the restaurant, and and yeah, I got into the restaurant, and it is so packed in there. We've got, 10 people with us, just a huge group of people. And so they put all these, saying and a lot, they put all these tables together, smushed them together. So I was sitting on one end, my dad was sitting on another end, I was sitting across from my mom, and I had my best friend next to me, and he has his family across from him, and we're all there, we're all hanging out, and the kids are being nice, and I have to stop saying and. They're not overreacting. They're not being little jerks or anything. And so I'm sitting there, and this kid behind me, this little kid, he's probably about, I don't know, 5 years old. He keeps hitting me. He keeps hitting me from, he's like changing his clothes or something, putting on a Warriors shirt or putting on I don't remember what kind of shirt it was, but some kind of shirt. And he's changing his clothes and he's hitting me. And the first couple of times I'm like, okay, it's cool. He's just a little kid. Then he kept doing it because he's trying to change. And there's a little space between tables behind, between us, behind me, between chairs. He keeps hitting me, and it's like, man, it's like being in an airplane. It's like being stuck in an airplane. So I finally moved around to the other end of the table. I moved around the corner of the table to get away from this kid. Because I'm like, I don't want to get angry at this kid, but I am getting angry. I don't want to yell at him. I just felt like if I could just solve the problem without being negative about it, I could have immediately turned to my mom or my best friend and said, Jesus, it's like being stuck on an airplane. This is so awful. Where's the kid's parents? Blah, blah, blah. The truth is, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The kid was such obviously he's a physically small person. I'm saying he's such a small matter. It did not matter. You solve your problems and you move on. I sat there and the food came out. And the burger I ordered was amazing. Probably the best burger that I've ever had. Certainly the best one I remember. Had good beer. Tried some of my friends. He tried some of mine. We had good conversation. Lots of laughs. Lots of jokes. Lots of sarcasm. We watched the game. We had fun. And it hit me in the middle of dinner, that context thing. It just hit me that you can be in any situation, pretty much. And if the context you bring with it is one of what I was thinking all night was I'm lucky. I am incredibly lucky to be in the situation I'm in, to be able to have friends and family who are as good as they are, to me and to each other. And we're not perfect, none of us are. I'm definitely not. But those criticisms I have, those negative bits, those little nitpicky things about our flaws, about everyone's flaws, they're not important. It's like the kid hitting me on the shoulder. He's gonna grow up and stop hitting people on the shoulder when he tries to change into a new shirt, like an idiot kid. He's gonna figure his shit out. Those problems will figure themselves out usually. You do have to have some criticisms, I think, in life. You have to be able to look at things and go, that's a problem, it needs to be fixed, but you also have to have the context that you're lucky to be here, or else you're never going to be lucky to be here. Whatever context you happen to bring with you is what your situation is, if that makes any sense. If I'd gone into that thinking, crap, man, I had to wake up early and work on my birthday. I had to sit through a store meeting. I hate those. I had to listen to corporate jargon all day. And then we had to work on just this load of shipments and packages. And then I had to, and then I drank stuff that I've been waiting for 6 months for. And, it made me sick. And then, and then I had to wait an hour and a half for a restaurant. And I had to watch after kids while I'm doing it. And then when I get in there, some kid starts hitting me in the back of the shoulders. None of it matters. That wasn't my day. My day was I got to work and listen to music in my headphones and do actual work and feel good about it. I got to drink something that my friend made for me. And then I got to do some productive stuff for me on my computer. I got to go hang out with friends and family and watch some kids that are growing up grow up. I got to eat an amazing burger. And I got to hang out with friends and family some more and feel awesome. That's context. One story's good, one story's bad. They're both the same story. It's really just how you look at it. There's a lot more about this, I think. This applies to a lot of things. There's so many people, so many groups in the world that are just, they'll take any bit of information you show them and any context they bring into it. That's how they're going to react to that information. For instance, just as to really bring it down to some political level and make it really boring suddenly. For instance, there are statistics out there that show that, just as for instance, what was it? It's black people, I believe. Black people, African Americans, whatever you want to call them, because I'm not sure how they refer to it anymore, are the ones who are the victims of crime the most from police, and this is mostly true. And then there's also statistics that say that white people are the ones who get arrested the most, who get beat up the most. And they're all true statistics. I mean, I have to go look it up again to give you exact numbers because I'm just taking this off the top of my head again. But, you know, if you go into it thinking that there's a bias towards one group or another, and then you find the evidence for it, that confirmation bias screws you up. And this is another example of it. I mean, yeah, there's more nuance to this, so maybe it's not a very good example. Maybe a less less charged example would be just, you wake up in the morning and you don't think you're going to have a good day. It's a pretty good chance you're not going to have a good day. I know that's some hippie metaphysical bullshit, but it's not entirely bullshit. One small kernel of truth from this bullshit parade that I just, threw past you is that if you think something is going to happen, you're more likely to have it happen than if you don't think it's going to happen or you think it's not going to happen. It's because you kind of look for opportunity everywhere you can see it. You're always looking for opportunity. Your brain's always going, hey, there's a pattern. We should follow that pattern. And if the pattern you're making is, I'm going to have a good day, or I'm just having a good day right now, or I'm very lucky to be here, then chances are you're actually really lucky to be here. And with that, this one goes to all the people I've lost, all the friends that I no longer see, and the fact that I'm still here. I'm very, very lucky. Cheers.